Greetings and welcome to a very special conversation with the Bishop today. It's Easter Sunday, so we want to give honor and praises to our risen Lord today. Thank you, God, for being God. And I am very grateful to have shared a very wonderful meal today at the Relentless house with a bunch of friends who are here live, and they're going to ask some questions. And I have some questions, some of which they've asked, and some of which have come from you. My word for the week again. I'm going to repeat myself from last week, and that's gratitude. I am so completely grateful for the opportunity to have this experience, but for the opportunity to have God in my life, to have a God in my life who is better to me than I have ever been to myself, and to whom I can give any of my troubles to. I said a couple of weeks ago that I really no longer have bad days. I have bad moments, but not bad days, because instead of going to God with how huge and how big my problems are, each one of my problems, as they come to me, I tell my problems how big my God is. Mm-hmm. And I don't stop having the problem, but it doesn't eat me the same way. It doesn't eat at me the same way. And that which I can't handle, I just give to God, because I can't handle it. And I know I can't handle it. And fighting it only makes it worse. So the other concept that I want to reiterate today is acceptance. There are a lot of things in this life that I don't like, some of which I can do something about. And when I can discern which ones those are, then I either do something about it or go to someone who can do something about it. Other than that, if it's a fact, then I just accept that. I don't have to like it. I just accept it. That concept has made my life so much better and so much easier to bear. I mean, like I said, I don't have bad days, because something comes at me. Is this a fact, or is this my story about it? Am I making up things to make true what I now believe? Because that could be momentary. I only believe that right now because my ego feels attacked. But if I don't open my mouth about it, my mama used to say, if you don't want nobody to know you're a fool, don't open your mouth and prove it. It's better for somebody to think you're a fool than for you to open your mouth and prove it. So I take that to heart, and when something really upsets me, instead of mouthing off first, because I've done that, been there a lot, and it doesn't make anything better, so I just kind of certainly quiet my mouth, think about it, and then I either go to somebody who can do something about it, or I let it go, because there's nothing I can do about it. And once I accept that, it's like, well, that wasn't so bad. That wasn't so difficult to do. So, acceptance, huge concept. Try it. I bet you it'll make, in fact, I challenge you. That which you are having a hard time with, take a moment to assess whether it is a fact or something, a story that you're making up about it. And then once you have assessed that it is a fact and there's nothing you can do about it, accept it, and then do something else, or give it to God and move on, and see if that works for you. If you don't try it, you'll never know. But if you try it, I will challenge you, whoever you are, wherever you are, to write back to me or somehow send me a note back saying that was better than you thought it was going to be. Okay. All right. I have one question here from LJ. She asks, Do you think it's more difficult to parent children nowadays in this technology-driven society than it used to be? My first thought is, although there has been a lot written about parenting and how to parent, it really doesn't come with a manual. When you become a parent, it's on-the-job training. And so you have to be present in the moment. Again, a few weeks ago I spoke about my daughter, who is now 13. Now, I don't remember really what I was like at 13. I do remember my mother saying to me repeatedly, I hope you have 10 children and I hope they're all just like you. Well, I can promise you that my 13-year-old is just like me. And so much so that we butt heads a lot. And, you know, sometimes my wife and I butt heads about her because I want to argue and push back. You can't talk to me like that. Why are you talking to me? You know, and I'll say things like, I'm going to stop talking to you. Of course, that hurts her feelings. And that gets everybody in my household upset. I live with 3 women, you know, so that upsets everybody. So, again, I had to go back to myself. It's not their problem. It's my problem. So now I say to my daughter, you know something, that's unacceptable to me, the way you're talking to me. Now, when you can talk to me like I'm an adult and like you have some respect for me, then then we can continue this conversation. Until then, I'm not going to engage with you. So get mad, don't get mad, whatever, but I'm not having this conversation anymore. Somehow that has worked. Now, we had a moment earlier today as we were beginning our Easter Sunday morning, and there was some pushback. And again, I said, okay, I'm not engaging. Now, she's yet to talk to me yet, but we'll see how that goes. But we didn't argue. And my day is peaceful. I will call her later on tonight and ask her how peaceful her day went as she is spending time with her grandmother. And I know she's having a good day. I know she is. So, but as I was saying, it does not come with a manual. So you have to every day take the moment as it comes. Because I have girls, my immediate response would be, many times if you feel like you're being disrespected, you usually are. But that's not exactly true, because sometimes my ego will step in to protect me when it feels attacked. And it will push back in a way that does not allow me to see the situation for exactly what it is. Mm-hmm. Now, and because somebody begins to push back at me, sometimes it has nothing to do with me. I don't know where they came from the moment before. I don't know what happened to them the night before. And perhaps they don't know any better than to take out on me what is bothering them. So, when I have the presence of mind to say it, I say, you must be really having a bad day. I'll see you later. And I move on. Because I can't change their bad day. It's their bad day, not mine. Or their bad moment. But I do have some say in how I handle this moment. And I'm going to try my best to take the sting out of it, to take my ego out of it, instead of it's all about me. It's not, I think I said this previously, but it bears repeating. Every day I'm trying to develop a profound relationship with what's my stuff and what's not my stuff. And when it ain't my stuff, I let it go. You can keep all your stuff to yourself. Have it all day. Have at it. I don't want it. And if it's not something that I know enough to be able to suggest for you to do something about, it's not mine. I'll let you handle it. If and when you want my opinion, you'll ask me. And if I then feel that you and me are an opening to communicate about it, I might offer a suggestion. But it'll only be a suggestion. I'm not telling you what to do. I can't tell you what to do. Because then I'm going to get mad when I tell you what to do and you don't do it. But that's my ego, not me. You see, I don't know about the rest of you, but one of the things that I notice happens to me is unbeknownst to me. See, my ego wants to identify itself with me. It wants to call it me. So when somebody's attacking me, or I feel attacked, and sometimes that happens, sort of in a sixth sense sort of thing, where somebody will say something to me, and my ego will have a perception that, hey, they just insulted me. So all of a sudden, without my asking, my ego will and put on a very heavy suit of armor. And then I have to respond. And then, it also wants me to respond out of that armored attack mode. I've done that a lot. You know how heavy armor is? Ask, if you dream about it and ask one of those knights on those horses how heavy that armor is. Lot to carry around. So when I feel that, and you can definitely feel when that happens, I go, hey man, thanks for sharing, but I didn't ask you. Let me think for myself. Then I have to, for me, this is what I do for myself, and this is what I suggest for myself. You do whatever is best for you. But then I have to ask the person whom I feel disrespected by, excuse me, I don't know what you meant, but what you just said not only made me feel bad, but I don't think I deserve that. Is that what you meant? Really? And I try to say it without any attitude, because the way I approach it, well, if they didn't have any attitude before, then the way I approach it will certainly give them some. And sometimes, and this is a matter of personality. This is something that's been true my whole life. Sometimes if I don't say it with a smile, all of a sudden it's like, excuse me? My mother used to get like that, so I'm not, I understand that about myself. So I have to there is a responsibility that I have in how somebody perceives me or how somebody responds to me. Because just like I might get from somebody else, like I said, it's not my stuff, but sometimes I'll have a thought on my mind that has nothing to do with anybody else around. And somebody will come up to me and ask me something. I ask, what? What do you want? What is it? No, it had nothing to do with them. It's because of what I was thinking. And I have, when I see them go, what? Instead of thinking it's all about them, I have to ask myself, oh my goodness, excuse me. I'm sorry. He caught me in the middle of a thought. And, what can I do for you? I have to give myself that moment. If I don't want to, throw logs on a fire. I have learned in my life not to blow the bridge up while I'm still on it. Not a good place to be. Okay. My next question is, what's it like playing a bishop on Greenleaf? I did respond to that, again, a few weeks back, when I shared that I used to want to be a preacher. And one of the reasons I didn't is because my great-grandfather founded a church in South Carolina, Jehovah Baptist Church. And my great-grandmother, who was a deaconess, used to talk about a jackleg. And that was the kind of preacher who, talked one way on Sunday, but during the rest of the week did whatever he wanted to. Now, I understand completely that the preacher, at best, is a messenger of the word, an interpreter of the word, and does live by a higher, should, and I use that word loosely, but, we hope that they live, to a higher standard, because they have to answer to a higher authority. But at the bottom line is he puts his pants on one leg at a time, just like me, and he's a man just like everybody else, given to all the frailty that men are given to, and that's anywhere from infidelity to being impolite. You know, sometimes you catch him on the wrong moment or the wrong day, and that guy's a preacher. Oh my God! You know, I mean, so what it's like for me, I get to explore for myself. If my life had taken a different turn and I had picked up the gauntlet when it first occurred to me to be a preacher, I get to live out that fantasy. You know, in a very well-written script by wonderful writers. I'm surrounded by wonderful actors who give me the sense of family that I mean, I can't imagine being more, you know, what an actual family could be that much more different than what I have. So, you know, it's a blessing. Again, God has been better than me than I could be to myself. This blessing is something I can hardly put words to, because I am living my dream. I am literally living my dream. So, that's what it's like playing a pastor on Greenleaf. My next question. Today is Easter Sunday. As an actor, is it ever difficult to spend holidays away from your family? The short answer is yes, of course. This particular year, this Easter, I woke up with my family. Now, we were both traveling. I had to come back because I have to go to work tomorrow. And they went off to Grandma's house. So I woke up with my family this morning on Easter, and I got to spend the whole weekend with them. So that was, I mean, a bonus, because that does not happen every day, Chauncey. There have been holidays, there have been birthdays that I've missed being away. But today I was a very fortunate papa and got to spend time with my family. I got to spend the whole weekend with them. And we only left each other this morning. Well, they had coffee, I had tea. and then they went off. And I came home. Now, these questions are from the group here, right? One question is, Betty asks, how long have you been acting, and what's the key advice you would give to an up-and-coming actor? Again, this came up a couple of weeks ago, and, you know, God gives you a gift. I liken this gift unto a calling. I think, you know, as a teacher of acting, I can give you some tips, some skills. I can give you some, I hate to call them tricks, but I can give you some techniques that will help you to interpret, that will help you to access more of your true, authentic self to yourself to bring to the table. I can help you to do it. I can aid you. I can be a third eye to watch and share with you whether you're, you know, to what extent I think you're doing it or not. But I cannot make you an actor. Either you are or you're not. Many times I'll come up upon a young actor and say, I say, well, what do you do? Well, I want to be an actor. Or, I'm into acting. Well, I'm not into acting. I really am not into acting. You know, I act because it's how my soul expresses itself. It's what I want to do, so I'm blessed in that. But like preaching, it's a calling. It's something that my soul would not be fulfilled without doing. I mean, that's how my soul gets fulfilled. I got a wonderful letter today. Oh, I read it today. And a young kid said to me that, I'm trying to remember exactly how he put it, that he was interested in acting. that he wanted some words about how to bring to the table a certain sense of authenticity. I don't have it in front of me, so I'm not remembering exactly how he put it. But the answer to the question was, acting is a craft. Like sculpting, or being a music. If you don't study, then you don't know how how it's really done. You have to study the craft, and you can only do that by doing it. You find a teacher who speaks to your sense. If you're an actor, or if you really have a burning desire to be an actor, and unless you have a burning desire, I suggest you do something else. If you have that burning desire, you also know what you think you need. The reason why you're not doing it now is because you feel that there's something between you and being able to do it well enough to be able to go out and pursue. So you have to find someone who addresses those issues for you. A teacher who will ignite in you that spark that allows you to say, okay, now I can go out and pursue it for myself. But you know and you know what that is inherently. It may not always be in the forefront of the consciousness, but innately, you know that there's something else I need. Now, I have felt that way for years, and I studied. I went to high school. I went to college. I studied outside of college, and that's what I suggest you do, because that's the only way I know to do it. In the old days, for what I know about old days, they used to have apprenticeships, and you could apprentice in an acting company when they had actor managers. Even in Shakespeare's time, and then beyond Shakespeare's time, they had other acting companies where you could actually apprentice. I don't know that much of that goes on today outside of being in an acting school that's associated with a theater, and before you graduate the program, you can participate in productions, smaller characters, maybe not so small characters if the occasion arises, and you have that opportunity. But to answer the question, there's no circumventing it. Yes, God gives you a natural talent, but you have to take that and do something else with it. And that is to nurture it. Sometimes not necessarily to improve it, because sometimes you've got it like that, but to enhance it, to make sure that you know what you're doing, on the 8th performance, on the 16th hour on the set. Can you be as fresh now as you were in the beginning? It all starts out, we're all so enthusiastic. Oh, God, I want to do that. Oh, this is so wonderful. But what happens when you're on the same scene for 3 days? And you think you can't eke any more juice out of that? Well, I dare say I think you might. But you might get to a point where there are some times when it does get to a point, and I promise you, this comes after many, many years where you can say, I'm not sure it's going to get any better than this. I think I know what this is, what this moment is, and for right now, I've given it what I've got. Now, and that's the difference between being in a movie and being in a play. If you're on stage, you can rehearse and find some more juice. A nuance or a subtlety in the relationship. Anyway, I think did that sufficiently answer the question?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Derek wants to know if which do I prefer, acting or voiceovers? Okay, Derek, let me answer you quite directly. I like working. That's the answer to that question. You know, one of the other reasons that study is important. When you are studying in a conservatory program or some kind of acting school somewhere, it gives you the chance, it gives you the opportunity to explore characters in different genres, comedies, drama, you know, and playing in different time periods, you know, different locations, and that all adds to your store. And that's the importance of study, because every character ain't like you. They walk differently, they talk differently, they think differently. And depending on their upbringing, where they were brought up, sometimes within the same town. If you were brought up on this side of town, if you were brought up on that side of town, during what period? Somebody brought up in Wisconsin in the 1970s, you know, in Milwaukee in 1970, is very different than somebody brought up in Milwaukee in 1990 or 2000. Somebody from Harlem in 1927 is very different from somebody who grew up in Harlem in 1953 or 1967, and very different from 2015. So you want to be able to access your imagination. We were listening earlier to Dr. Kimbrough, and one of the key things that he said was important is your imagination. You're only limited by your imagination, by your own imagination. And the more you explore your horizons, the more you read, the more you travel, the more you expose yourself to different cultures, whether it's just talking to a foreign student or somebody who you know is not from this area, who might be lost. Why aren't you the one to say, where would you like to go? And you listen, you can hear their accent. One of the things I love is to hear English spoken from another language. I just love the beauty and the use of the language and how they use it, because it's very different than what I would do, but I can steal something and make it mine. So, okay, what incident or aha moment made a significant impact that shifted your perspective of life? Well, a great shift in my perception. It has to do with acceptance. Today, my father, who just turned 81, we have a wonderful relationship. Really a great relationship. But in my teens, it was tumultuous. It was not such a great relationship, because I wanted him to look like how I wanted him to look like. I wanted him to be this man who I imagined and dreamed of. The one thing I can say about my father, my whole life, he has been who he is. He has never varied from that. And when I stopped looking to him to be the man I thought he should be, and began to accept him for the man who he is, it lifted years off of my life. Because he wasn't carrying that burden, I was. And when I could see that no matter what the problems I was having with him, he was doing the best he knew how to do. That's all he could do. And when I finally realized that and accepted that, Now I have my dad back. And what a wonderful thing that is. Now he really can be my hero because he's authentic. I don't have to like everything he does, but when I accept it, it's like, well, that's my dad, and it's all good. You know, he's not God, and he ain't Superman, but he's a good man, and he's my dad. With that thought, I want you to remember the risen Christ in you today. Let that light shine throughout your universe. And be well, and until next time, God bless you.
Y'all can give him a round of applause. There you go.
A round of applause. Oh my God.
You said
Awesome.
that just did something to me too. I did release something that
Let it go.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Good night.
Good night.